I'm doing an experiment this evening, and it's going to be random lessons from random books. We're going to see how this goes. Never done this, and I'm going to try and keep it short. But before the end of this video, we should have wise words, 1, 2, shocking fact, 3, a great quote that we all approve of, and 4, a personal story that I have to share that I didn't prepare for. So let's see if this works. I've got 4 books, and I'm going to share them with you too, and hopefully they line up. I've never done this before. So let's see what happens. 3 of these books I have never read, and I heard only good things about them. Or I've read them partly. So that means you're going to read it with me for the first time. Are you up for it? Well, let's begin. So the first thing on our list here is we're looking for some wise words. Wisdom is the knowledge. What did they say? Knowledge is knowing that a tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is not putting it in a fruit salad. There's a wise words for you already. But that just came up. This little booklet is by Robert Greene. He is a brilliant author, and he wrote a whole number of books, but this little book is a short, concise version of his book, The 48 Laws of Power. And he went into history to see what people did, people like Hitler and Napoleon and Nelson Mandela and so on. So we're going to go through this, and let's see if I can find a random page. I'm going to read from page 144. Desire often creates paradoxical effects. The more you want something, the more you chase after it, the more it eludes you. The more interest you show, the more you repel the object of your desire. This is because your interest is too strong, makes people awkward, even fearful. Uncontrollable desire makes you seem weak, unworthy, and pathetic. The lesson is from Law 36. Disdain things you cannot have. Ignoring them is the best revenge. It says, judgment, by acknowledging a petty problem, you give it existence and credibility. The more attention you pay an enemy, the stronger you make him. And a small mistake is often made worse and more visible when you try to fix it. It is sometimes best to leave things alone. If there is something you want but cannot have, show contempt for it. The less interest you reveal, the more superior you seem. I love this. Let me see now. I'm going to jump to number 4, my personal story. I can tell you from experience that this is absolutely true. That the moment you start obsessing over something, it just goes away. It leaves you. It runs away completely. It's like when you fall in love, boys or girls, and you are always stalking and running behind and following the person. No, that's bad. But you just put them off. But if you pretend someone doesn't exist, then sometimes they'll come to you and they'll talk to you. Personal story is when I wanted so badly to go overseas. It was the year 1999, and I had applied for a bursary through the Rotary Foundation of Rotary International. And if you don't know Rotary, it's the organization that does the exchange students of old. They had lots of buttons, and you had a foreigner from Germany or the Ukraine. No, not the Ukraine. Let's say Germany or the Netherlands or somewhere that came to visit your country, and then they took on someone from our country. So the people would have these little buttons of all the countries that they visited. Rotary exchange students. But I didn't want to be an exchange student. I wanted to go overseas for a year to study. and I applied it for a bursary. And this bursary was for a whole year. It was at that point $16,000. Now, in today's money, I'm going to work it out. It's going to be in Rand, 272,000 Rand. But it's probably more than double that in the value in the year 1999, which is 27 years ago. But what happened was I applied for this bursary and I went through, I think it was 7 really difficult interviews. And you go from Rotary Club to Rotary Club and you have to go and talk to all these people and you have to convince them why you will be a good ambassador for your country. Because it was in the first place not a study bursary, it was in the first place an ambassadorial task where in my case, eventually I ended up in America and I went to New York. I stayed upstate New York in a little town called Canandaigua, which means the chosen spot. And it is near Rochester, which is in the Great Lakes district. And those people were very good to me. But I didn't go that year. So what am I telling you? Well, let me tell you the story. So I went through all these interviews and I got to the finals. Here's the final panel. And it's all these Rotarians. And Rotarians was code at that point for very rich white people. Okay? Just take it from whence it comes. So successful company owners, very successful professionals, people who really cared about society. Rotary has been very good to me and has been a fantastically positive influence in this world. And I got the second place. I was placed second. And the guy that got the actual bursary didn't go. He cancelled. For the life of me, I can't remember why. But do you think they now decided to pass it on to the second place? No. They saved the money that year and they decided not to allocate it at all. So nobody went. I was second. Second place, boys and girls. There's some more wise words for you. It's really not good enough. Nobody remembers who was second in the Olympics for any medal. They only remember the gold medal winner. If you apply for a job and you get the second choice, you don't get the job. You have to be first. But in any case, I gave up. I said, you know what? I was a little spiteful, I must say. I was a little resentful and I was a little pissed off. And I said to myself, no, you know what? This is not meant for me. I'm going to go back to just teaching and I'm going to focus on my career and I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to focus on whatever I'm doing at the school and I forgot about it. But then they said to me, why don't you apply again? I said, nah, you know what? You keep your bursary. I'm fine. I'll make my own road in life. But they convinced me and I said, all right, because I still really, really wanted to go overseas. And I was 29 at that point, right? So I was not married. I was not attached to anyone and I didn't have children and I didn't have anything holding me back. I didn't have a house. If I were to live this life again, I would change that and I would definitely buy myself a property at that age. Boys and girls, if there's one piece of advice I can give you from this video is please try and save your money. Don't make debt. If I could live my life over, I would do 2 things differently. I would never go into debt and I would look after my knees better. This left knee is a mess and it was what I call in Afrikaans a sportsbesering because I was partying too hard and I fell. Okay, it was AC/DC's fault. Thunderstruck was playing and I thought I would jump up and down like Angus Young. but it didn't work. It didn't go well for me. I can't share more about the incident. It could be damaging to my career. But the long story short is that I got the bursary in the year 1999 for the year 2000 when I let it go. I went through those interviews within a couple of weeks. I got the bursary and I went to America for 9 months. It was awesome. It was also the year that the Twin Towers crashed, and I was a few hundred miles away from the event when it happened. I'll never forget it, but that's a video for a different day. Right, so there's your personal story and the wise words. Now, did I share the shocking fact yet? I think I did. But let's look through this book. This is called Louise Hay's You Can Heal Your Life. It's sold more than 50 million copies. And Louise Hay, God bless her and rest her soul, she is the owner, or she was the owner of Hay House. And it's all the alternative healing books are printed through them. But this was her first big hit. She was a very successful speaker in the times in the 80s when AIDS ravaged actually new places like Los Angeles and the Hollywood, and America got a big scare because of the AIDS virus. Gay people were targeted and they were so afraid that she started talking to all the gay guys in support groups. And she made a big difference because she helped lots of people heal their lives. Let's see if I can find a random fact here, and I'll share it with you. Let's see. Would you like to hear affirmations or the process of loving the self? I think let's do some affirmations. It says, the things about yourself or your life that you have always disliked are probably still with you. What you put your attention on grows and becomes permanent in your life. Move away from the negative and put your attention on what it is you really do want to be or have. Let's turn the above negative affirmations into positive affirmations. Now, this is so interesting to me because what did we just say? We just established that if you want something, let it go. And now she's saying we should put our attention on it. So how do we fix this dichotomy? I think it's two different things. Let me think about it for a minute. If you have comments, put them in the video at the bottom. Let's see what those negative statements were first. This is from page 75, by the way, chapter 8, Building the New. The answers within me come to my awareness with ease. I don't want to be fat. I don't want to be broke, old. I don't want to live here. I don't want to have this relationship. I don't want to be stuck in this job. I don't want to have this hair or this nose or this body. I don't want to be lonely or unhappy, or I don't want to be sick. What you put your attention on grows. The above shows how we are culturally taught to fight the negative mentally, thinking that if we do so, the positive will automatically come to us. It doesn't work that way. How often have you lamented about what you didn't want? Did it ever bring you what you really wanted? Fighting the negative is a total waste of time if you really want to make changes in your life. The more you dwell on what you don't want, the more of it you create. The things about yourself or your life that you have always disliked are probably still with you. Yeah, so now it's coming down into the mind. I remember now. Don't confuse wanting something that's good for you, but then letting it go and giving it to God and saying, Lord, when it's your time, I'll go to America if it's your will. That's one aspect. So obsessing over something doesn't really make it through. It doesn't make things happen. Okay, that's one principle. But the other one is things about yourself. If you obsess about something, then it becomes real. The things you think about become real. That's why affirmations are so powerful. I know people don't like doing affirmations. They do not like looking in the mirror and saying positive things, even to themselves. Do you like saying things to yourself that are positive? Well, then you are one step ahead of us. I've had to do that recently, the past year or two, three. I've had to learn to say positive things to myself. So instead of saying, I don't want to be fat, I don't want to be broke, I don't want to be old, and so on, let's see what you should say. I am slender, I am prosperous, I am eternally young, I now move to a better place. I have a wonderful new relationship. I am my own person. I love my hair, I love my nose, and I love my body. I am filled with love and affection. I am filled with love and affection. It feels good to say that. I wonder why we don't do affirmations more. I am joyous and happy and free. I am totally healthy. Now, doesn't that feel better? We are so self-deprecating sometimes. So she says, learn to think in positive affirmations. Affirmations can be any statement you make. Say it, speak it. Words are powerful. Maya Angelou said, words become things. You think about things, and the thoughts become words, and the words become things. And I'm paraphrasing, but she says it goes into the walls and into the people and the things around you, and then it becomes true. And I must say, I am not there yet. I always struggle to do positive affirmations. I want to read these again. I am slender. I am prosperous. I am eternally young. I now move to a better place. I have a wonderful new relationship. I am my own person. I love my hair, my nose, and my body, which is grey, the hair. I am filled with love and affection. That's a higher energy. You can feel it if you think about it and you just breathe, having an energy that's a little higher. And I am joyous and happy and free. I am totally healthy. That's beautiful. Louise Hayes, You Can Heal Your Life. And then the last book, I think we've done all the great quotes and the personal story. I think we've ticked all the boxes. There you go. I'm going to look at the last book. And it's actually James Clear's Atomic Habits, which everybody's read except me, it seems. I think it's sold over 5 million copies now. Oh, it says over 3 million copies sold, but this is already an older edition. So it's already probably many more. Okay, but I've started reading this, and I just haven't made the time to read it. I'm going to read for you, and we're doing random pages. I say it while I'm looking for something that's not random at all. Okay, page 15, why small habits make a big difference. It is so easy to overestimate the importance of one defining moment and underestimate the value of making small improvements on a daily basis. Too often, we convince ourselves that massive success requires massive action. Whether it is losing weight, building a business, writing a book, winning a championship, or achieving any other goal, we put pressure on ourselves to make some earth-shattering improvement that everyone will talk about. It is so in the same area. Listen to this again. It is so easy to overestimate the importance of one defining moment and underestimate the value of making small improvements on a daily basis. Too often, we convince ourselves that massive success requires massive action. I think that's his whole idea in one sentence. Whether it's losing weight, building a business, writing a book, winning a championship, or a scholarship, in my case, 27 years ago, or achieving any other goal, we put pressure on ourselves to make some earth-shattering improvement that everyone will talk about. I'm going to have to read this book properly, because the moment I made the small decisions to say, I'm going to let it go, I'm just going to focus on the small decisions daily and keep my mind open and let it go and give it to God, things fell into place. That is fantastic. I hope you learned something from this video, and there's another one, and I hope that you will watch that too. Have a good day.